Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Window Shopping. I'm your host, Stephen Mead with Domicile Real estate for people who love houses. Just as a reminder, we're going to take you on a bit of a virtual walkthrough here and kind of give you our comments on what we think are some of the best and coolest and unique architectural homes for sale in Southern California. But before we start, this is a house that I think I was super excited to see. And there are some names when you hear them that, really just kind of are emblematic of modernist architecture in Southern California. Names like Neutra, Eichler, Schindler, A. Quincy Jones, and Edward Fickett. And Edward Fickett is particularly interesting because, this is somebody who really had a prolific career, not only designing custom homes, but also designing tract homes. It's estimated there are over 50,000 homes in Southern California that were actually designed by architect Edward Fickett, and then a number of custom homes as well. And the designs have a certain efficient honesty to them. And I think I've always appreciated going into his homes. They were kind of the anti-mansion in a lot of ways. And I think that message really resonates today. So without further ado, we're going to jump into 1205 Medford Road in Pasadena. And this is actually on the east side of Pasadena. So this property is close to the end of the Rose Parade route, which is a lot of fun. And it really borders on the community of Sierra Madre. This is really a great area. This is a lot. The lot for this house is, I think, a little over 8,000 square feet, which is a great size lot. This home has this kind of cool entry courtyard that we're seeing here, kind of a neat little recessed entryway as well. One of the things you might notice in these photos is that things seem a little sparse, right? Like there's not really a lot of landscaping going on in it. And I want you to take kind of some note of that too. Here we've got a living room, some really cool built-ins you see on the wall there. The fireplace is even a cool design. We've got these polished concrete floors. One of the things I love in this renovation is that they didn't overdo the kitchen. And one of the things that you see in a lot of renovations is I think there's this pressure to make a kitchen super spectacular, whiz bang, exclamation points everywhere. And what they did is they actually did, relatively simple countertop, undermount sink. It's a very understated kitchen that I think really is going to survive the test of time. High-end appliances. They did the gold knobs. I'm not so sure how long those will last. But one of the other features I like here is that if you look in the upper corner of this, one of the things that you see is that they've actually hidden the vent hood for the stove up in this soffit. So it's a very clean install. There's a lot of things about this house that have a certain cleanliness. I'm pretty sure this home has been added on to. We didn't pull the permit records, but at 2,248 square feet, this is much bigger than Fickett would have built in 1951. I think this may have started life as a 2-bedroom, 1-bath house, and they added a bit of a primary suite up in the front of the house. But again, look at the clean, effortless lines to this kitchen. And then this is probably my favorite room in the whole house. It's this dining room with these paneled walls, glass on all the sides. I think this is really an opportunity to have a unique dining experience. And one of the things I love about houses, that architectural homes, is that none of the rooms are just a plain box, right? Like none of it's just a place to put furniture. There's actually some sense of meaning and a sense of occasion behind these spaces. This house is at 1.55 million. It is not an affordable entry-level property by any means. But I think if this is your budget, it's a good size house, 2,248 square feet, decent sized lot, nicely scaled rooms. This is the primary suite, large bathroom, multiple shower heads, but again, simplicity in the finish choices, right? It looks like we have kind of some beautiful 2-inch white tiles. This isn't overly done. This isn't like a fad that's going to fade. This house is very clean, simple, and elegant. And I think in a lot of ways that really is sort of the hallmark of a Fickett design. And I'm glad to see in the renovation that they carried that forward. There's kind of a lot of fun spaces in this house. You've got this kind of casual sort of rear space back here, in addition to the formal living room up front. You've got a couple of nicely sized bedrooms towards the back, and then you have, really some nice backyard space as well that you can see from here. So this is actually showing that little dining room space there. There's solar panels already on the house. Um, this is the front of the home, which kind of has this cool entry courtyard. One thing I do want to talk about, and I'll talk about here in a second. By the way, this is kind of our overhead view, right? So we've got this main living room. I have a feeling either this back part is an addition here, or this was part of the original and they added on this front section here. But I mean, what a great design home, right? I think that they don't do home designs like this anymore. And I think this one gives you a real nice balance of both openness and having spaces that feel distinctive and unique. And as always, there's a lot of light in a house like this. So now we're going to go real quick to something else, because I want to talk about what do we think this house needs? What would we do to this house if we were going to make some changes? First of all, I think this house has a little bit of a privacy problem. I think from the front, when we took a look there, you can actually see through that living room and look directly at the couch from the street. And I personally think that's a bit of a problem. I'd want to install some sort of a gate on the front like that. Second thing, I think the landscaping is a bit unfinished. And this isn't uncommon in renovated houses. Either, the renovator kind of runs out of money in their budget, or they want to leave it sparse so that somebody can kind of put their own personal stamp on the house. And that brings me to my final point. The renovation is timeless, which I love, but I think this house needs a little bit more personalization. There's something a little bit generic about it. It looks and feels staged. I think this is the kind of house where you can have a little bit of fun with things that are personalized just for you. And what I mean by that is, don't be afraid to do that textured wallpaper. Don't be afraid to pick some funky, unique artwork. Those are the kind of things in a house like this that are really going to take it to the next level. I think what you've got is sort of a great base and great bones, but what you need is something that really takes it to the next level. Finally, let's go over how much this house costs. This is probably my favorite part. I think we like to talk about, what does it really take to own a house in this price range? Again, 1.55 million. So what do we have here? At 10% down, which is $155,000, you're looking at a total payment around $6,071, $1,615 a month in property taxes, a little under $200 insurance, which brings us total to $7,879 is your total housing payment on a house like this. But the good news is, because interest rates are pretty low, over $2,200 of that is going towards principal every single month. So you actually are getting ahead, you are building equity towards something. Obviously, if you go to 20% down or $310,000, the payments look a little bit smaller. Kind of running down, that mortgage payment drops about $850 or so. And our total payment ends up at $7,037, and you still have over $2,100 a month going towards principal. So really, these are not cheap prices. These are definitely for an affluent buyer or somebody coming in with a large down payment. But if you have the means, this is really a great part of Pasadena. Pasadena has a rich history of really cool houses. I think downtown Pasadena is fun. It's kind of an interesting option, especially if you have a little bit more work from home flexibility. Again, thanks for joining us kind of on this tour and a little bit of our thoughts. Obviously, questions, comments, we love them. And we will see you again next week.